So I thought today would be a good opportunity to answer what is probably the most asked question on my channel of me, and that is, what am I using for my tones? So I thought the best way to answer that question would be to show you the amps that I use all the time, give you some different tones, a couple different guitars, also show you my pedal board, which if you notice, a lot of these pedals aren't even down because it changes all the time. It's why I've never done a pedal board video, because this changes on a weekly basis, and I'm just like, what's the point of making a pedal board video? But I'll show it to you here. The other thing is, I reached out to the guys at Sweetwater to ask if they would sponsor this. They said yes, which I was super pumped up for because they sell a lot of this stuff. So I'll link all of it down below for you. And if you guys would subscribe and just buckle in, because it is about to be as nerdy as possible. And can we point out that this is the coolest t-shirt, Warren D. Martini. I got it when I just went to the Rat Show a couple weeks ago. All right, anyways, here we go. Okay, so let's start with the pedal board. I just want to tell you guys what's on here because I'm pretty notorious for not remembering to say what I'm using. I'm focused on either teaching or playing, and I just don't really think about the gear that much. But on this current iteration of the board, you know, call me in 24 hours, it'll be different. But a couple of the staples that stay on this board is the Halo Core. It's my favorite delay. Keeley, if you don't have one of these, I like the Core. I had the normal one, and it was just a little bit too much for me. It just did things that I didn't need it to do. So they toned it down, made it bigger. I like big pedals. The UA Golden Reverberator. Awesome reverb. Absolutely love this. I love being able to have two separate reverb settings. This is an old 80s CE2. Pretty much sounds exactly like the new ones. I just wanted an old 80s one. GE7, of course. You guys I've talked about that a bunch, used it a bunch. This is an old I think it's a V2 Timmy. You know, just awesome. I love the way Timmy's sound. Such a good sound on pedal, especially with a Marshall. Another one that, you know, this is Velcroed on here. The Argo from my buddy Zach over at Mythos Pedals. The Freak Out by Digitech, the coolest guitar pedal ever created. And then a Canvas tuner. I just got this not too long ago, and I really like that tuner. So those are my pedals. I might kick them on. I'll call them out, but you know, you saw firsthand what they are. I'm not gonna do anything too fancy here. Okay, and the final little bit of housekeeping, the signal path you guys are going to be hearing is whatever guitar I'm playing plugged into my pedal board, right into the front of the amp. I'm not using any loops right now, even though I do like to use delays and verbs through the loop if possible. And I'm going to be running them all into, you can see it, the aux box back there, which is going to digitally simulate an amp cabinet and microphones, so I can control it here on my iPad. It's got a 4x12 with greenbacks, and the microphones are a 121 and a 57. Again, all digitally being done. I don't actually have any of that stuff. And the verb you're hearing is from the aux as well. It has a really good plate reverb, and since I'm running everything to the front of all these distorted amps, I tend to just run reverb on here so it doesn't get all washed out sounding. So I'm into the Rev D40 right now, and then without, so it sounds fine, but I figured since I'm trying to show you the tones that I like to get, not really so much demoing the amps, I'm going to have reverb on the whole time, so I actually don't need this anymore. And I'm remembering why I don't like making these videos. I never know how to sit. I feel like out of my element. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Rev D40. This is an amazing amp. This is my favorite amp that Rev makes. They brought this one. I think this is a very early one. If Derek happens to see this, he can correct me. But they did the launch party for this here in Nashville, and they brought two of them with them, and I was like, dude, I gotta have that amp. So this is one of the two. The clean is just phenomenal on it. I mean, it's just a great, great sounding clean. That's the clean side of it. The amp also has its own verb in it, which is really, really good. So we can like double verb right now. I mean, I just love that stuff. Kick on a little grit on that clean channel. I'm using the Timmy. And then you got the second channel, which I don't use as much as the first channel, but it has a really good drive on it. So again, no pedals on, it's just the amp. All killer, no filler. Next amp. So we've moved on to the 5150. I got this one a year or so ago, and it was just a crazy deal. This is an old, script letter one, but I'm not a huge fan of 5150s. As odd as it sounds, as the amp as a whole. I pretty much only like the green channel with the crunch turned off. Now, I know for metal guys and detuning and all that stuff, people love these amps, and I love Eddie. I'm a huge EVH guy, but I mean the crunch channel is awesome on this thing. This is pretty much how I would use this amp. Ernie Ball Super Sport Axis for the guitar. I'll try to remember to call it the guitars that I'm using. No pedals on either. So for that one, I'd probably kick on the GE7 and boost a little bit. Push that a little bit. Now, there is so much gain in this amp. I'll go to the lead channel for just a second. I mean, listen to that. Jeez. It's too much. It's too much, and you can tame it, you can do all that kind of stuff. But to me, that crunch channel is just really, really good. So, the Dr. Z Octal 6. Now, I got this amp after I got my Z-Rec over here. Now, I bought both of these amps from the guys over there, and I ordered my Z-Rec first, and then they reached out and asked if I would be interested in checking one of the Octal 6s out, because it had Octal preamp or power amp tubes, I can't remember. I'm not big on specs of anything. It just sounded good. And they sent it to me, and I absolutely loved this amp, especially through the cab. I know you're hearing it through the aux, but in the cab, it's got this big kind of oversized 1x12 in it. It sounds so good. And the reason why is it felt good and weird to my hands. It is a pretty fast response to the amp. And it was a really interesting feel for me to play it. I just liked the way that it felt. It's just a different feeling and sounding amp. I just really dug it. My favorite way to use the amp is with a light distortion on it. And I love a lot of reverb when I'm doing this one. It just sounds good, all washed out. I like whatever that was. That wasn't half bad. So that's how I like to do it. But like I said, the amp on its own with the reverb, normal reverb, it's right there. You can push it and get quite a bit of grit and bark out of it if you want. But I kind of like it more like how I had it, you know. That sound right there, man, it's just all day long. I love that lower gain stuff, especially you get a lot of that ambiance going, and I all day long. I could play that tone that I just had a second ago all day long, and it's just inspiring. So let's move over here, and then we'll work our way to the other side of the room. He's done gone country on you. Okay, I'm just gonna stop while I'm ahead. No, I definitely cannot play country. Oh, also, this guitar is not mine. I borrowed a bunch of guitars from Fender, and I'm taking them back, and I was like, well, let me just use this. I mean, you guys see the same old guitars that I have all the time, so I thought, well, I'll use this bright, shiny green one. Now, the Z-Rec, this is the first Z I had and had ever played. I played one here in town and loved it. I was like, man, there's that chimey, glassy sound that I like so much. I love how simple it is. That's what we're gonna go to, like parallel universes here. This one has like 4 knobs on it, and we're gonna go to the 120 down here, which has 4,000 knobs on it. So this one, what I like about it is I control, usually I don't use too many pedals with it, to be honest. I just like to roll the volume up if I want more distortion. It gets pretty rockin'. I think it's 40 watts. But if you roll the volume back, you get a really nice clean. Actually, I'm gonna switch guitars for just a second, because one of my favorite guitars to use with this amp is the Gretsch. I know I'm switching a lot of guitars, and I thought about it a lot when I was gonna make this video. I was like, do I just keep everything the exact same and try to compare the amps? And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to demo the amps. I'm just trying to show you how I like to use them. So I was like, well, just switch it up. Use whatever guitar I'm kind of feeling. Yeah, that sound right there. So that's the Z-Rec, an incredible amp. Probably still my favorite amp that I've gotten. I think I got that 2 years ago. Maybe I got it last year. But it's my favorite amp I've gotten for as far as the kind of amp that it is, I should say. This and the Marshall are my absolute go-tos the past year or so. The big old mammoth. One of the few high gain amps that I actually like. It has a great clean channel. It's not the clean channel I would use of all of these amps that I have, but it is a really good clean channel, especially considering it's on a high gain amp. I would choose the D40 clean over this one. But the green channel is probably my favorite channel of all of the Rev amps, which is, again, this kind of crunchy sound, but I like the high gain stuff too. I bought my first Rev amp. I don't have it here. Well, I have it, actually, it's in the closet. I just don't have it out right now. Is an old Generator 740, the smaller version of this guy. I mean, I bought that probably 9-10 years ago, something like that. And then I have one of the original Dynamuses, which is what the D40 is based off of, and a friend of mine has that right now, so I don't have that either. But I've had the Rev stuff for a long, long time. I've had this amp for probably 5 years. And I mean, just a killer sounding amp. The purple channel I love for leads. Red is kind of more rhythmy. And I like having something like this because even though it's not necessarily like a daily driver for me, you know, having different guitarists over here doing videos with them and stuff, some of them want this more high gain kind of thing, or they want the more voxy thing that this is. I don't have anything Fendery yet, which I definitely need to get. I know you see this super reverb back here. That's it. That's, what are those called? The Tone Master. So it's a solid state amp, which sounds really, really good. But a lot of guys really want that tube feel to it. But yeah, so that's the Rev 120, and then we'll get on to the two Marshalls over here. Okay, so we made it into Marshall land. And this is my, I think it's called a 1959 hand-wired Marshall whatever. It's a Super Lead. That's what it is. And it sounds incredible. These are just amazing, amazing amps. I got it at a ridiculous price because there was something going on. I don't, whatever was going on with Marshall like a year or two ago where they got a new distributor or whatever it was. The prices dropped like crazy on all of these. And this was someone returned it, or it was an open box. I think it was an open box, and which knocked even more off the price. And I was just like, this is too good to be true. So I got it, and I couldn't be happier with it. I've had no issues with it whatsoever, other than just wanting to play it all the time. So, like I said, this is really what I hear in my head when I think of guitar tone, and all that kind of stuff. Les Paul of some kind. I got my Heritage H150. Just so mean sounding. I mean, all day long I could play it. Well, I mean, if we're gonna do that, we might as well do it right? Is that not the sound? GE7. Dude, Marshall, all day long. With a little help from the Timmy on there. So this is an old and noisy JCM 800. This was, funny enough, my old guitar teacher's JCM 800 in the 80s. This is a 1984. Oh, was it 2203? Well, it's 50 watts. I think that's 2203. 2204 is 100 watts. Or maybe I'm getting those mixed up. Vertical input, and it's just smoking, man. It is a killer amp. It needs help, I think, to sound the way that I want it to. Like a lot of I would say all the other amps, I could kind of just play them as they are. This one definitely needs something to tighten it up. It gets real flubby. And kind of just, oh sorry, and also Ibanez Destroyer right here. I don't know, that sounds pretty good. If I kick the Timmy in, I think it livens it up a little bit. But again, sometimes I listen to the playback and I'm like, you know what? I liked it better before I changed stuff. I like the way it feels under my fingers. It just has like the plexi is kind of like, I don't know if stiff's the right word. It's just a little bit harder to play maybe, and then the 800 is just real like soft under your fingers. Okay, this is looking like a normal video, right? So, my God, this has to be the last stop. I'm so sick of hearing myself talk. Into the Axe FX 2XL now. So this is the old Axe FX that I've had forever, and this is the patch. I'm gonna show you two patches that I made. These are the two main ones that people ask me about with the Axe FX. And a lot of times people are like, oh, you know, what are you using? All that kind of stuff. And it's always the same two patches. The only thing that changes is the guitar that I'm playing. I just kind of physically play differently to get different sounds. So a lot of it, I think, is self EQ with your hands, and I'm constantly messing with my volume knob, tone knobs, all those things, pickup selectors, all the time. So to me, that's where changing the sound, even though I only use two sounds on here, I mess with that stuff all the time. So the main sound is this one. So what you're really hearing is a Friedman amp, that model that's in the Axe FX, I should say. It's just a preamp with an 808 in front of it, and then I have delay and reverb and a 4x12 cab. The delay is stereo for me, and why I like this sound so much is what happens with the delay the way I have it set. Here, decently long, not a ton of repeats though. I don't like delays that have really big tails on them and all that kind of stuff and just kind of go forever. Whenever you're playing, it mixes with the reverb, and it gives you this, it's just like a bed under your notes, and it's just this huge sound. I've only ever been able to get it with the Axe FX, and I love it. So if I'm playing single notes, like listen to it, it's like there's almost two things happening. You have the note, and then it creates this underneath, undertone under it. So. Also, I forgot to mention, this is a Rev Beach Sur. This is one of my favorite guitars that I own and have ever played. It is just just incredible. So the other sound that I use a lot, and part of the reason why I'm playing this guitar, is that 80s shmoo sound. Now this has kind of the kitchen sink on it, lots of different effects happening, multiple choruses, multiple delays, and an EQ, compression. I mean, like I said, it's literally everything. So the sound is this, if you want to hear it. So the EMGs do a pretty good job of getting that sound. Of course, if you had something like a Tyler with that preamp in there, the Demeter, you'd be a whole lot closer. But I just enjoy the way this sounds. So anyways, that's all the amps. I'm sure you've had enough of everything in this video. You probably don't need a video from me for like a month. So other than that, I appreciate all of you guys. It's important to know I didn't get all these amps and guitars and all that stuff overnight. It's something I've been doing for the past 20 years and have slowly built up to the stuff that I have. And it's all been about really chasing the sound that I was hearing or wanting to hear, or trying to find a way to find it. Because it's never been about, like, I don't know specs on amps and all that stuff. Like, I probably couldn't tell you what tubes are in half of the amps I have here. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I think that can, you know, speed up the process. But for me, it's just been about amps or guitars and pedals that I hear that make me go like, oh, what's that? Like, if I ever have that reaction to something, it's like, I'm like, man, how do I get one of those? You know, because sometimes you hear stuff, I'm like, oh, that sounds good, it sounds cool. But whenever you get that, like, what is that? You know, that moment, I'm like, that's something cool. Something, you know, creatively grabbed you about whatever that piece of gear was. So that's kind of how I base all that stuff. Thank you again to Sweetwater for sponsoring the video. I'll have links to all kinds of stuff down below for you. Like I said, I hope you survived the video. And until next time, homies, I will see you all later. I appreciate you guys, and have a good day. Bye, homies.